Hey everybody, I'm Damien Murphy. Thanks, Sam. So I work with the Mobile Innovation Centre. Myself and Olivier emigrated here about 3 months ago and came from Dublin, Ireland. So we've been working very closely with Wearables, and it's mainly been driven by customers. We enjoy doing it, but customers enjoy seeing it even more. So it's we've actually productized 2 smart glass applications. Just team of Montreal did a lot of the development. We kind of consulted with them and kind of broke the back of some of the technical limitations. The team we're in used to be very heavy design orientated, so we had I think it was half designers, half developers. That changed over time to 1 designer and about 10 developers.
It went the other way.
Cutbacks. We simplified. But which was a bad thing because it's tough for developers to really get dirty in designing. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk a little bit about the different kind of devices, and then talk a little bit about the different ways you can interact with them. So we've got these monocular ones here and then a binocular. So monocular is basically 1 eye at a time, and we found that in industries it's a lot safer to use 1 eye, right? Because it's not blocking your vision. You can have it below your line of sight. You're not going to walk into a pole or something like that. But some of the really cool use cases come with binocular, which allows you to overlay data on the real world. So you can augment a laptop and see the internals of it in real time. We have a couple of devices here, and you can play around with them a little bit later on. So this is like a military grade device from Osterhout Group. Binocular. It does true AR. So it's one of the first devices that does true AR. And this is an industrial monocular display. This has got 6 noise cancelling microphones, and that means that even in a canteen you can actually use voice commands very reliably. So talking about the different types of interactions. So we've it's really new to all of us what we're doing. So we didn't know what is the best way to interact with these devices. So we've got some apps, some early prototypes that use head gestures for activating voice control, right? So battery is a big consideration. You don't want to be listening to voice constantly throughout the use, and you can also control a cursor. So in later versions we started to use it to actually select on a screen. You stay in that position, kind of like the Xbox Connect with select items. Device input is always a great fallback, and we found with doing demos, maybe your internet goes down, your voice control is not working, and you want a way to skip to the next section. And most of them come with back, select, up, down, things like that. Swipe is a little bit tricky because Google Glass, Vuzix, Copen, they all implement it differently, and it's all custom SDK. So there's problems around using custom SDKs if you want to be cross-platform. Hand gestures, again, third-party software. Voice, third-party software. SAP doesn't have any intellectual property in that area, but it allows much more complex uses. So a couple of pros and cons. I've kind of bolded the most important. Head gestures, hands-free. So people are working, they can actually do things. They don't have to keep touching their head. But the con is it's uncomfortable. You're doing this, you're doing that, and to be honest, it's not a great user experience. Hand gestures, cross-platform, which is really important because we have to have multiple branches of code for different devices, and it's got a load of different uses. So you can detect a fist, a hand, you can even point on a screen, and it's all handled through the camera. So you're not really tied to a particular device for that. But again, it's not hands-free, and we've got a licensed third-party SDK. Device input, it's tactile. That's a big plus. It's always there. It's never going to fail. But again, it's not hands-free. Voice, which seems to be the method of choice, right? Because it's quite flexible. It's hands-free. It does use a third-party SDK, but I guess if your app is going to be expensive enough, you can license that stuff. But we've run into hurdles whereby the licensing of the audio software is actually more expensive than the app we're selling. So it becomes a kind of a to and fro. Then it's inaccurate on most devices. So Google Glass, Vuzix M100, even that really expensive military grade one, it's just not up to scale. But with the GoldenEye, it's actually it's got all the noise cancelling microphones, and it can actually it can do really impressive. So 8 languages. It supports Irish accent, French accent, American accent, just you name it.
That's the military grade one?
No, that's the monocular one.
Oh,
yeah.
monocular.
So we can try it out. If anybody's got a really strong accent, let's see if we can make it fit. So I'm going to stop there briefly.
Boston accent.
Any questions before I move on? Great. Okay. So I'm going to go over 2 case studies. So we've got the warehouse picker and the service technician. So these are available. SAP has them as products listed. The warehouse picker one's on Extended Warehouse Manager, for those of you that don't understand the 3-letter acronyms within SAP. And the service technician is Work Manager, so it's a cyclo-agentry application, one of our best-selling mobile products. So I'll start with the warehouse picker. So this is actually the final version of the splash screen. It's pretty nice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it through the POC to version 1 to version 2 and how the UI changed over time. So this is the entire workflow. So from the POC point of view, you have to log on, scan a barcode, get a confirmation, scan a box so you're going to put all the stuff you're picking into, scan a barcode, confirmation again, and then you got a list of items you're going to pick. So you're going around with your box and you're like, okay, that's the item, scan it, put it into the box, and then you get your confirmation. Depending on the quantity, you've got to then confirm if it was 1 or 2, because sometimes people pick 1 and you get confirmation and they'll just move on. So an extra voice confirmation there, where I squeezed it in. So then what they did in version 1 was they changed a few things, right? So they introduced a new scanner, third-party barcode scanner that could scan a lot more stuff, which kind of ruined a bit of the use of it, because it prompted you at the start which scanner do you want to use. Now you only have to do it once, but again, it's a usability issue for new users. We also added loading, so you can see loading, backend call, and item pick. So I've actually highlighted the extra screens, and the PLC wasn't connected, right? So it was just scan and dump barcodes. So this version actually was connected into the ERP system, and you needed to have confirmation. You needed to, if the request failed, if data connectivity went, you need to have that workflow included as well. And you can also see as well that the text on these screens got slightly bigger, slightly coloured, and an SAP logo appeared on every screen except for this one.
Of course. Am I not surprised?
So yeah, so it kind of moved on. I think the voice prompt definitely looked better. I'll just go back for comparison. So you can kind of see there's a little microphone that shows up on that screen there, but the text is very small, hard to read. So then we got to kind of look a bit larger because they're hard to see. And I'm going to compare these 4 screens with the next version. So, straight away you can see much bigger font, a lot less clutter, and it's definitely an improvement. So then we went on to version 2. And what we did here is we used the entire screen, right? So bigger font, center of the screen, and nicer colors. Like straight away they don't make my eyes bleed anymore. So we actually started to use this head-based selection. So when a user changes, so if you've got user 1, he's put down the device, user 2 comes along, he's going to have to log out or change the handling, maybe he scanned the wrong one or something like that. So that head tracking stuff, it's still in development, this hasn't been released yet, but it's definitely an improvement. And I think, on a small device like that, you really need to use all the real estate you can, and don't hold back. Keep it simple. Like these menu items are full width of the screen. Don't have a list down the side. So yeah, just to kind of go over that again. Bigger text on center screen. Kind of hold the user's hand and always have confirmations and validation. So service technician is a little bit of a different use case. So we wanted to have somebody that could work hands-free on an object. I think it's a pump in some of these, and in others it's a Lego toy. And what it enables you to do is get 3D work instructions using SAP's own rendering software, and you can actually see that then live on your headset display. So the proof of concept obviously was not designed; it was just developed, and it had all the functionality there. It had load the data, it had scan the login QR code, and then there was also a call a dispatcher. So we wanted to have a remote assistance whereby you were able to call out to somebody that knew how to fix it. So they'd see your camera feed and they could annotate it, and that would give you a bit of help. You kind of coined it over the shoulder something. So yeah, so this is version 1. Obviously you can see there's a lot changed. The 3D model, again, it's interactable. In order to enable the voice control, you basically have to lift up your head, and that triggered the voice control. Again, the voice control was online. It was difficult. You'd be demoing it and you'd be like, next. So so we fixed a few things around that area. So this is the V2, and straight away it's simple. There's nice color coding, and in order to do a lot of this, we wanted to do offline voice commands. So using the Nuance SDK, we're actually able to embed the voice control without internet connectivity, and it works a lot better. So again, bigger text, nice colors, and things like that. So it's definitely interesting to see how it progressed from POC to V1 to V2, and kind of the mistakes and the interaction changes that happened. So yeah, icons, more colors. So any questions on the two of those before I move on?
Yeah. So these screens were for the glasses.
Yeah. Okay. So I have them installed on the 3 glasses there, so you can try them out.
Does it match like the rectangle directly, or does it?
Yeah, it uses
one to the
the display, but for the see-through one, obviously you're going to have area around it that's not got any content. But for the monocular ones, it's full screen.
Are these use cases like maybe prototype or just to see what?
Yeah, these are SAP products.
In collaboration with customers and business.
Yeah, so the warehouse one was done with Bechley. We actually use Bechley as a supplier for SAP. They're German, and I think they rolled it out in one of the warehouses. So field service, it's still early days, but we've got a few interested customers as well.
Are you interacting with those top menus, for instance? When the first one in warehouse paper, you got the share button and the history up top. Is that something you press on the top of the glasses?
Which one was it?
Just go back.
Last one.
You've got the barcode
Okay,
share and
so the barcode scanner is a third-party barcode scanner.
Okay.
So we basically call out when we say barcode scan, it scans and then it returns a string. So it's a third-party application. Now on an Android phone, you'd see the same thing, and you'd probably share. But in this, we didn't need to work with that. Okay. You have more?
Just the 3D, is that visual enterprise?
Yeah.
It's funny because the team here is working on Built, which is also leveraging visual
It's
enterprise.
the same.
Yeah, because I'm curious about your voice activation. It's tethered to the 3D.
Yeah, so when you say next, the next step of the animation.
We need
Yeah.
next.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So,
That's it, phone and iPad.
So to give you context, these guys are working on deals.
yeah.
So we're working on a product that brings this visual interface for consumer use to help people assemble everything.
So I might take a little sidetrack since you brought it up. So I actually worked on Snap, which was the precursor to that.
Yes.
So I worked with 2 guys in Atlanta, and I added in the augmented reality components of it, some of the spatial analytics. I don't think that made it into Built though due to licensing issues. It's always licensing issues, it seems. But yeah, it was a great app, and we got a lot of business from showing it. So I showed it at Inside AR, an augmented reality event. So myself and Nick Brown presented it to about 700 people, and I think there was like 2 or 3 customers then. Went on to do pilots, mainly in oil and gas. Okay, so smartwatches. This is where my lovely assistant Olivier is going to make it all tactile. So. Cool. So what you're seeing there, one of them is a Fury application. Okay, so the 2 that I've loaded up is my inbox and deal approval. So I worked on this application, and I worked with the guys that were developing these other ones as well. So this one came out first. I think Steve Lucas showed it. The retail one, I don't think it's been demoed on stage. My inbox was in the NYSE bell ring, where Bill and Hasso and Burnt all showed them. So it's gotten pretty good reception. So a few different things about the Samsung Gear S is the way you interact with it, right? So back is actually swipe down on top of the screen. Now, the designers I was working with were like, no, we don't want that. We want to do something else. And I just told them, well, that's the way it is, because it actually it happens in the app. So no matter what you're in, exit is swipe down. So I got my way with that one, which was great. So there's a couple of different sections to the application that I built. We had appointments, we had contacts, deal approval, and forecasting. So we kind of had a complex set of swipes, right? So you could scroll the front page, and you could also swipe left on the front page to go to the tile view, which you could also scroll. And because it's all web, it gets quite messy for a developer. But we managed to get it going, and it worked pretty well. So you can actually select on this tile here. Each of these is active to bring you into the appointment, and then on the appointment you can swipe across. Okay. So once you go into the appointment, sorry, skip one. Yeah. So in the appointment on the third page, you get contact list, right? So who's the organizer? You can tap them, you get their email address, their phone, and since the Samsung Gear S can take a SIM card, you can actually make phone calls directly from there. And then again, swipe down to go back, swipe down to go back, swipe down to go back, which is kind of a lot of swipe downs. So then the deal details. In order to trigger this for the demo, what we did was you tap the time, and that basically triggered a notification that popped in, right? So for demo purposes, it was a handy way of doing it rather than having some sort of back-end call. And yeah, you can approve the deal straight away. You can see the approve and reject is available on each screen. Initially, we were going to have this little drop down here, this little hamburger menu. You tap that, and it was going to give you a couple of options, right? Now, I kind of urged them against that because you've got like a 3-second window on a watch where you're going to lose people. So, yeah, we put the approve reject on the bottom. And then on the forecast again, 4 kind of paginated tiles. You can scroll through to see information. And yeah, so to finish off, this is from the NYSE bell ring presentation where they showed the demo. And I just wanted to highlight button sizes, right? You're on a watch. It may seem big, but it's not.
Do you need audio, Damien?
Back one. Where's that going?
Damien, do you need audio?
No, there's no audio. Just count the taps. So he's trying to go into this workflow. So he taps once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and he got it. So make your buttons big. And, so that's what I'll leave with. Any final closing questions? Or? Great.
No questions? Well, thank you so much, Damien.
Thanks, Amy.
Let's continue with the.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
So you said on a watch you have a 3-second window. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so like the whole idea of having it on your wrist is to avoid taking out your phone. And it probably takes you about 3 seconds to take out your phone. So really what you want is you want an actionable notification pop up. And we did some work on the Motor 360, essentially taking that deal approval via a notification approach. And what that allows you to do is you get a notification, swipe, approve. And so there's no appointments, there's no sales forecasting, there's like, we've minified it then. So at the NYC we develop whatever you want, right? But then we also like to go off and develop what we want. So we kind of took that approach, taking a deal approval, fully fledged mobile application on a watch versus, what you'd actually expect to get on a watch.
So then, so when the person has Fiori on their wrist, let's say, the most realistic scenario is just that they're getting prompted as opposed to like actually interacting and going through the app.
And this has been user tested?
We developed this in I think a week, and
As a
we showed
prototype,
it got great response. You know, hassle-like.
Yeah.
Well, then you don't need to use a tested.
User tested, C-level tested. It's more important than user tested.
So it is nice to show these things because essentially it is a smartphone on your wrist. You know? So it is possible to have that extra level stuff. But you know, if you've got a phone in your pocket with a bigger screen, you know, you can have a lot more functionality. So like I know when I get a notification on my wrist and it's like, hey, your troops are ready for battle in Clash of Clans, I know I don't have to take out my phone, right? You know? Whereas if it's a text message, I'm like, oh, okay, let's see what it is. You know? So.
Okay.
Do you see a lot of adoption in enterprise for these?
There's a lot of interest. It's kind of like the wearables stuff as well. Like customers just love seeing that. You know, like even if there's no battery in it. You know?
Okay, great. So thank you so much, Damien.